So yesterday I talked about generalized coordinates, and today I will discuss two concepts relating to generalized coordinates, that is generalized velocity and generalized force. And these are very interesting things to be discussed. So let us recall some basics before discussing generalized velocity. So let us consider a function. I am recalling some results from calculus. So let f be a function such that f is equal to f of x1, x2 and so on xn. Then its differential df, it can be written as, because this function is depending upon more than one variable, so it can be written as curly f over curly x1 and dx1, right, plus curly f over curly x2 dx2 and so on curly f over curly xn and dxn. Or sometimes you can see change in this f, delta f, it is represented by delta f, and this delta f is represented as curly f over curly x1 into delta x1 plus curly f over curly x2 delta x2 plus and so on curly f over curly x3, sorry, xn delta xn. You can write down it in this way or it in this way, right? What is velocity? Velocity means change in something with respect to time. So if I want to take its derivative with respect to some parameter, say if I want to take its or I want to say calculate this one where limit delta t approaches to 0, I call it as df over dt, right, in the parametric form. Then I can say that curly f over curly x1, it is delta x1 over, but delta t approaching to 0, then I can say that it is curly x1 over curly t. I can write down it in this way, plus curly f over curly x2 over curly t plus and so on curly f over curly xn and curly xn over curly t. So this is a simple definition of differential or derivative when function depending upon more than one variable. And what is velocity? Velocity means derivative of something with respect to time. That's the meaning of velocity. It's a very simple idea. And now if I recall generalized coordinates and if I take their derivative with respect to time, then I can say that the derivative of generalized coordinates with respect to time gives me the generalized velocity. It's a very simple idea. But how things looks in that scenario, let us have a look at that. So let us recall the definition of generalized coordinates first of all. So if I recall, then it is Ri, and this Ri depends upon Q1, Q2 and so on Qn, and sometimes if it depends upon time, then T can also be written like this. Or in some text, you can see this as Q, and it is depending upon Q1, Q2 and so on Qn and T, one and same thing. दोनों एक ही चीज को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे. So now if I am interested to find out the change in it, then change in it can be written as delta Q is equal to curly Q over curly Q1 into delta Q1 plus curly Q over curly Q2 delta Q2 plus and so on curly q over curly qn and delta qn, and then again its derivative curly q over curly t. It will remain as it is, right? ये मेरे पास जो है यहाँ से रिजल्ट आ जाता है. And if I take or try to find out delta q over delta t, then it is curly q over curly q1 delta q1 over delta t plus curly q over curly q2 delta q2 upon delta t plus and so on curly q over curly qn delta qn over delta t plus curly q over curly t. That's what we are getting. So very simple. Right? Then if I take delta t approaching to 0, if I use this condition over it, if I apply this condition, then this change in q with respect to change in time, it will become the derivative. It's a simple definition of the derivative. So it is dq over dt is equal to curly q over curly q1 into curly q over curly t, curly q1 over curly t, and then curly q over curly q2, curly q2 over curly t, and so on curly q over curly qn, and curly qn over curly t plus curly q over curly t. Right? That's what we are getting. but बड़ी लंबी चौड़ी लाइन लग रही है ना. So let us make it more simple, in more compact form. If I try to make it more compact, that means I have to use the summation here. So to make it simple, it is dq over dt. It must be equal to curly q over curly qj derivative, because derivative with respect to time is dot over that, right? And its summation over j, and curly q by curly t will be there again. It's very simple. So this is the expression for generalized velocity. But q is representing particles position. But if I am having a large number of particles, then for ith particle, I can rewrite down this equation, right? So for ith particle, position is given in terms of generalized coordinate qi, right? So then, because we have not deal with the only single particle, we have to deal with the large assembly of particles. So we have to prepare ourselves, our mathematics, so that we can deal with the large number of particles. So qi dot, it can be written as dqi over dt, velocity of the ith particle, and this is the generalized coordinate of ith particle. That means it is the velocity, it is the generalized velocity. It is the generalized velocity. It can be written as, see, curly qi, velocity of ith particle, it is qi over curly qj, then curly qj over curly t, and summation plus curly q over curly t, but it is I. This is the new equation which I am getting. Or it is curly qi over curly qj, and what is it? It is qj dot plus curly qi over curly t, where what is j? J varies from 1 to n, because if there are n particles, then there are 3n number of equations are there, and generalized coordinates start playing their role when certain number of constraints are imposed over that, and because of that, those constraints, this number gets reduced and this is equal to n. That's what we have supposed. So that means this is the generalized velocity of the ith particle, and this is expressed in terms of generalized coordinates. So it is summation over generalized coordinate, number of generalized coordinates. How many number of generalized coordinates are there? N number, small n number of generalized coordinates are there, which I am considering. So this is a new way to look at the generalized velocity. So this is the expression for this. This is the expression for generalized velocity. But if our generalized coordinate is independent of time, if I can assume that is if qi is equal to qi, q1, q2 and so on q1, earlier we have assumed that it is also depending upon time, but if it is independent of time, just right, then qi dot generalized velocity is basically contains only this part. This will not be there. So it is j is equal to 1 to n curly qi over curly qj and qj dot, right? This is a definition of generalized velocity, and in some text you can see the same expression in little bit different manner. Ri dot, it is a generalized velocity, and it is curly ri over curly qj dot, its summation over j varies from 1 to n, and I, this I ये वेरी करता है 1 to 3n, डिफरेंस है दोनों में. Because if my system has n number of particles, sorry, not 3n, but it is n, 1 to n, because it represents the number of particles in our system, and this j represents the number of generalized coordinates. It's a difference. And if it has time dependence, then it is represented like this: 1 to n curly curly ri over curly qj and curly qj dot, right, plus curly ri curly t. So this is a brief introduction of generalized velocity. Now I will discuss with you another very important aspect, that is the generalized force. Now I have to find out the expression for generalized force. That's again a very interesting idea, that how we tackle force in terms of generalized coordinates. generalized force. So consider n particle system. System with ith particle having position coordinates Ri. And another thing which I am considering, let system has k number of holonomic constraints. Holonomic constraints means the constraints which are expressed in terms of some equations, right? Expressed in terms of algebraic equations. So those are the holonomic constraints. Then how many number of generalized coordinates are there? Number of generalized coordinates are is what? Is 3n minus k, and let it be equal to n. So n number of generalized coordinates are there. That means this Ri, it can be expressed as Ri, Q1, Q2 and so on Qn. Very simple. And let Fi be the force acting on the ith particle. Now what will happen? Now the system is supposed under the effect of certain force, and different particles feel the or experience the force. So let us imagine that ith particle experiences a force how much force it is experiencing, let me call it as Fi, and this particle is at position Ri. This particle is at position Ri. So this is the force, and when this particle is subjected to this force, that means there is some displacement in the particle. Particle displaces from its position, initial position with time. That means its position will changes from Ri to Ri plus delta Ri. So this is the displacement in the particle. So if this is the displacement, then force on the particle multiplied by displacement gives you what? Work done. This is the work done by the force to cause displacement delta Ri. When I am applying force, what force will do? Force will displace the particle. And what is the work done? It is the applied force multiplied by the displacement of the particle. So that means small force delta Wi is given I by Fi delta Ri. ये सिंपल नोटेशंस हैं. आई आप सब इसमें पाव में लगा लो इसके सबस्क्रिप्ट, देन इट डजंट मैटर. जैसे आपको कन्वीनियंट लगे, यू कैन यूज द सिंबल्स एट योर ओन वे, बट मेक योर सेल्फ कंफर्टेबल. दैट्स द ओनली आइडिया, राइट? सो इट इज डेल्टा Wi, but every particle is experiencing force, and there is a possibility that different particle will experience different force. Then whole of the system will displace, or I can take the algebraic sum. So small work done is W is basically, that means I am trying to find out the total work done by all forces. This is equal to, this is summation J varies from 1 to N, sorry, not J, I varies from 1 to N, capital N, Fi delta Ri, and it is also depending upon this. This is the equation. This is the total work done. Right? But I am interested to find out what? I am interested to find out generalized force. But this is a simple displacement. That means I have to express this delta Ri in terms of generalized coordinates. Right? So for that, I will use its value as I derived earlier. So it is what? Or let us recall delta Ri, and this delta Ri is equal to J is equal to 1 to N curly Ri over curly Qj delta Qj. Now my life is much more simple. That means I have incorporated into generalized coordinates. Now I will substitute its value in delta Ri, and then you will get another equation for work done. So this delta W, I will put this value here, and if I put it, then this delta W is what? It is equal to I varies from 1 to N Fi Ri, and the value of delta Ri, it is J varies from 1 to N delta Ri over delta Qj delta Qj. Let me expand it. So if I expand it, it can be written as it is I varies from 1 to N Fi. Just focus over it. It's a very simple trick which I am using. I am not writing it directly, and then I will put summation over it. Oh, sorry, not put, but I will try to open this summation. So that means I will put first of all J is equal to 1 and J is equal to 2 and so on up to N. I will keep on putting. So what is it? It is delta R I over, because summation over J, that means I will not change. So curly Q1 curly delta Q1 plus curly Ri over curly Q2 delta Q2 plus and so on curly Ri over curly Qn delta Qn. That's what I am getting, right? Now I will put I is equal to 1 and then I is equal to 2 and so on, I is equal to capital N. First of all, I expanded this summation. Now I will expand this, right? So in place of I will put 1. So if I do this, then what will happen? It's equal to what? F of 1 R1 curly R1 curly Q1 delta Q1 plus this gets multiplied here also. So it is f of 1 R1 curly R1 curly Q2 delta Q2 plus and so on f of 1 R1 curly R1 curly Qn delta Qn plus f of 2 R2 curly R2 curly Q1 delta Q1 plus f of 2 R2 curly R2 over curly Q2 delta Q2 plus and so on f of 2 R2 curly R2 over curly Qn and delta Qn and so on. If I club these two terms, similarly I can club third term also, right? Then and delta Q1 is here and delta Q1 is also sitting here. This delta Q1 can be taken outside, right? Out of these two, and similarly I can get another term. So I am taking delta Q1 outside, and inside what I am getting? F of 1 R1 F of and curly R1 curly Q1 plus F of 2 R2 curly Q1 curly Q1 delta Q1. ये common ले लीजिए. Okay, yeah, we have taken it common. So sorry, and so plus delta Q2 it is f of 1 R1 curly R1 over curly Q2 delta Q2, sorry, delta Q2 we have taken outside, plus f of 2 R2 curly R2 curly Q2 and so on and so on. Now I will put summation. So I can write down. So this is what? This is which one? जो डेल्टा Q1 मैंने लिया इसके ऊपर समेशन J थी, summation over J, and J varies from 1 to n. So I can re-express it as delta Qj and then summation I varies from 1 to n f of I Ri curly Ri over curly Qj. This is what? This is small work done. In terms of generalized coordinates, everything has been expressed in terms of generalized coordinates. And let us do one thing. What is force? Total force is what? How I have defined the total force? I have defined it as like this, that small work done is equal to, it is delta Ri and Fi Ri. This is the total force, and it is summation over I, it's summation over I. So if I try to look at this part, then in place of this part is sitting, right? And in place of this part is sitting. So in this particular expression, in place of force, this term is sitting, and this is expressed in terms of generalized coordinates, so I can call it as generalized force. That means let me call this as Qj is equal to I varies from 1 to n f of I Ri curly Ri over curly Qj. So this is called generalized force. So it's not a simple force, but it is little bit different, and we have to express it in this form. And this whole term will represent work done by generalized force, by all generalized force. So this is a way that how we look in terms of generalized coordinates, and we express, or we try to find out, or try to look at the velocity, and then we try to look at the force in terms of generalized coordinates. And that's all for this lecture.